haunted ABCs across America, starting with Alabama.
Welcome to Suspense Chronicles. I'm your host, Michaela Sanders, and tonight I'm going to take you on a journey across America with our new series, ABCs of Horrors Across America, starting with Alabama. Alabama does not disappoint. When I was doing a lot of research, I realized that beneath the Southern charm, there is definitely some restless things that stir. As a psychic medium myself, this was quite the journey to look into and read into, and I'll do a separate video based off of that. But first, we're going to talk about a few different places in Alabama, one being Sloth Furnace. Another one is the Dead Children's Playground, which is located in Huntsville, Gaines Ridge Dinner Club in Camden, and then Hell's Gate Bridge in Oxford. If any of you guys have your own personal stories from Alabama, or even regardless at all, please send them to suspensschroniclespod@gmail.com. I would love to read them and do a review of viewer stories. All right, let's dig in. So on our first stop, we're going to stop at Sloth's Furnace. In the heart of Birmingham stands a relic of the Industrial Revolution, Sloth's Furnaces. By day, it's a National Historic Landmark, all rusted red towers and steel bones, but at night, the air changes. Workers once called it the furnace from hell. During the early 1900s, under brutal working conditions, men toiled in unbearable heat. The most infamous foreman, James Slag Wormwood, was said to drive his crew to the brink of suicide. One night, he fell, or maybe he was pushed, or possibly jumped to his suicide in the molten steel. Since then, security guards have reported glowing figures moving among the furnaces, metal doors slamming shut by themselves, and disembodied voices whispering names. Some say it's Slag still overseeing his shift from the other side. What do you think? If you ever visit, feel free to take pictures and send them to me. I'd love to see if we can catch any ghosts.
And our journey takes us to the infamous Dead Children's Playground in Huntsville, Alabama.
All right, next we travel to Huntsville, Alabama, so watch out everyone in Huntsville. Inside the Maple Hill Cemetery, past the tombstones and the trees, there's a small little playground that the locals call the Dead Children's Playground. The story goes that the children buried nearby in the cemetery died a long time ago, some from illness, others from darker causes, but if you come after midnight, you will hear laughter, children's voices, echoes, and swings that move on their own, gravel crunching behind you. It'll sound like people walking around. And one thing that is interesting is that in 2007, the city actually tried to remove the playground equipment, but the paranormal outcry was swift and strange noises were reported the next night. And the workers that were supposedly working on the project were having nightmares. And anyway, it got crazy. So the city actually rebuilt it. I don't know if it had anything to do with like the paranormal history. Maybe it was to keep the kids happy. Who knows?
Our next stop takes us south to Camden, Alabama, and the infamous Gaines Ridge Dinner Club.
Camden's Gaines Ridge Dinner Club looks like a postcard from the past, but during the dark hours, it's definitely creepier. It is a white-columned Greek revival home that was built in the 1820s, one of Alabama's oldest restaurants. Candlelight, soft laughter, southern cooking, but behind its charm lurks one of the state's most quietly haunted places. Over the years, guests and staff have reported the sound of a woman screaming upstairs and the ceaseless crying of an unseen infant. Dinners, people say they feel cold breezes rush through, also closed rooms. Sometimes it feels like a door's open, like there's just a cool breeze that comes in. Chairs scrape across the floor by themselves, and voices call out faintly even when the building's empty. So staff and guests have both had experiences, and at one point the owner actually told a local reporter that there was a mirror that shattered suddenly during a quiet dinner service. There was no quake, no accident, it just shattered. So can you guys imagine, like, you're just sitting at dinner enjoying yourself and all of a sudden a mirror just shattered? Like, I'd probably never go back there. Some say that the woman is the spirit of a young mother who lived there during the 19th century. Others say she was murdered by her jealous husband. Some people even think she was a caretaker that still just likes to tend to her home. I guess we'll never know. But if you visit, do yourself a favor and keep one seat open at your table. Someone might be joining you.
Our journey takes us now to Oxford, Alabama.
Every town has that one stretch of road teenagers dare each other to visit. In Oxford, Alabama, it's Hell's Gate Bridge. Built in the 1950s, the bridge earned its name from a story of a young couple that was driving across one stormy night when their car slipped off into the creek below. Unfortunately, they both drowned. Since then, the ritual goes like this: drive out to the bridge, stop in the center, turn your headlights off, and they say if you do, a wet, ghostly pair of hands will press against your back seat. Then, when you turn your lights back on, the couple will be sitting there, silently staring ahead. If you're brave enough to look in your rearview mirror, sometimes you'll see it, a flickering red glow behind you, like the gates of hell itself opening on the water. The city has since closed the bridge to traffic, but the legend still survives, passed down from driver to driver, whispered like a spell to summon the dead. There's also been, I guess, exposure or experiences with hellhounds and other ghostly apparitions. I believe Ghost Adventures even did an episode, but I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to double check that. But yeah, it is closed now. It's not safe to visit, so I don't recommend. But if you have in the past, send me some stories or some pictures. And that's Alabama, folks. Our first stop in the ABCs of horror across America. A land where history and haunting go hand in hand. From iron furnaces to playground graves, the spirits down here don't just linger, they work overtime. Next time we travel north to the frozen stillness of Alaska, where shadows move beneath the ice. Until then, keep your headphones close. You never know who's listening. Submit your paranormal stories or mystery stories or anything that frankly creeps you out at suspensschroniclespod@gmail.com. Till next time, thanks for listening.